back, third grade musicians. Glad to see you again. Thanks for coming back to Mr. Camacho's music lessons. Today we're going to talk about these things and these instruments. Does anyone know what you might call these types of sticks? What do we name these? That's right, they're called mallets. And does anybody know what kind of instruments might we use for mallets? That's correct. We use them for percussion instruments. All sorts of different kinds of percussion instruments, right? So they could be used for gongs or cymbals or drums, bass drums, snare drums, or even toms. They could be used for lots of different things. Today, we're going to talk about the mallet instruments. So mallet instruments are part of the percussion family, and they are these instruments right here. Do you know what they're called? That's right, this one is the xylophone, and this is also a xylophone but made with wooden bars. So mallet instruments can be made with metal or with wood. Now what do you think the word xylophone means? So the word phone comes from the word sound. So whenever you see phone in an instrument, that means sound. Xylo means wood. So when you put them together, xylo, wood, phone, sound, you get a wood sound. So which is why we have one xylophone that's made of wood. So this is one type of xylophone, one made with metal bars. And we have this one over here, a xylophone made with wooden bars. Hear how they have a little different sound? The metal ones can last for a long time. The wood ones don't last very long, but they have a different sound. They kind of end right away. Other types of mallet instruments include marimbas and vibraphone. Notice how the vibraphone and marimbas both have little tubes, resonator tubes, that come from the bottom of it to make it louder. And the vibraphone actually has a little whirling fan inside of it to help give it a vibrato sound, like a wah, 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 wah. Very interesting instruments. So in order to play the mallet instruments, we use different types of mallets. Some mallets can be made with yarn on the end. Some can be made with just rubber on the end. Some can be made with felt. And some are just wood. And each one of these has its own unique sound, depending on whether you play it on metal or wooden keys here, right? So for the yarn sound, it's a very subdued sound, right? You don't really hear the sound of it hitting the metal, just the sound of the ring. Same thing with here, right? It's very, very subdued, very, very warm type of sound. Then we have the rubber tip. The rubber tip is pretty much the same, but it's a little bit more on the front end. I can really hear it hitting. So it can be louder and it's a little more punchier, right? I can really feel the sound of it getting hit. Right? You feel it there. Other one would be the felt one. So the felt one's a little more softer, but it has it sounds like this. So it has the warmth of the yarn stick, but it has that punch of the rubber. Kind of mixing in between there. And then lastly, we have our wood stick. So the wood stick is definitely sticks out. So when you want your music to stick out, you can use a wood stick. That kind of cuts through all the other instruments if there's a lot of music going on at the same time. Next, we're going to look at some different professional mallet players that have made a name for themselves in the music industry. So these players all focus on one of these mallet instruments: a xylophone player, a marimba player, and a vibraphone player. So let's take a look.
you.